Today I'm going to reveal how to attract a woman just with your eyes. Many men underestimate the power of non-verbal communication in attraction. In fact, eye contact can be more impactful than words. In the next few minutes, I'll explain the 4 eye contact techniques that will magnetize any woman. You'll learn how to use your gaze to create sexual tension, demonstrate confidence, and establish a deep connection. The right look can be the trigger that instantly sparks her interest. Stop believing right now that you need an expensive car or a model physique to spark female interest. True seduction happens on a much deeper level, and today I'm going to show you exactly how to access it. I'm talking about proven techniques that work regardless of your appearance or financial status. What if I told you that in just 30 days, you could transform into the type of man who naturally attracts women into his life? Sounds impossible? Well, that's exactly what I'm going to teach you. I'm not selling magic formulas. I'm offering a tested and proven system used by thousands of ordinary men who revolutionize their love lives by following the exact steps I'm about to share. The journey won't be easy. I'm going to challenge you. I'm going to push you out of your comfort zone. Some of you might even quit halfway through, and that's okay. Not everyone is truly committed to change, but those who follow this guide to the end will discover a new world of possibilities they never imagined existed. Before we begin, I need to ask you a question. Are you truly willing to leave behind old habits and limiting beliefs that have kept you stuck in a cycle of frustration? Because that's what will be required. There's no transformation without commitment. If you're ready for this journey, keep watching. If not, maybe this video isn't for you. And for those who already feel like this is the time for change, leave your like right now and activate the bell icon so you don't miss any part of this transformative series. Let's get to what really matters. First, let's talk about the fundamental pillar of all successful seduction, a winning mindset. Many men make the mistake of thinking that seduction is just about superficial techniques and strategies, pickup lines, psychological tricks, or manipulation. Nothing could be further from the truth. True seduction begins long before the first contact with a woman. It starts in your own mind. Think about it. How can a woman be attracted to you if you don't see yourself as an attractive man? It's impossible. Insecurity has a smell. Doubt has a vibration. Women can sense when a man doesn't believe in his own worth, and nothing is less attractive than that. Let me tell you a quick story. One of my students, let's call him John, was an average guy. Average height, average looks, average job. He came to me completely frustrated after years of accumulating rejections. When we started working together, the first thing I noticed was how he referred to himself. I'm shy. I don't know what to say to women. They're never interested in guys like me. See the problem? Even before opening his mouth near a woman, John had already defeated himself. In the first 2 weeks of the program, we focused exclusively on reprogramming his mindset. No approach techniques, no conversation tricks, just internal transformation. The result? When we finally went out to practice real interactions, it felt like I was with a completely different person. The same appearance, the same voice, but a totally transformed presence. And you know what's most interesting? Women started noticing him naturally. This is what I want you to understand. Seduction isn't something you do, it's something you are. When you cultivate a mindset of abundance, genuine confidence, and unwavering self-worth, attraction happens as a natural consequence. So how do you develop this mindset? Let's move on to the first practical exercise. Starting today, you will completely eliminate self-deprecating phrases from your vocabulary. It sounds simple, but observe how your mind constantly tries to sabotage your confidence with thoughts like, "She's too beautiful for me," or "I'll probably get rejected." Every time you notice these thoughts arising, interrupt them immediately and replace them with an affirmation of self-worth. I'm not talking about self-deception. I'm talking about breaking the habit of putting yourself down. There is a huge difference between arrogance and healthy confidence. Arrogance is born from insecurity. True confidence comes from self-knowledge and self-acceptance. The second element of this internal work involves reconfiguring your beliefs about women and relationships. Many men unconsciously carry toxic ideas that sabotage their interactions. Beautiful women are arrogant. They're all after money. It's impossible to understand what they want. These generalizations are not only false but also create an invisible barrier between you and genuine connections. Women, just like men, are complex individuals with unique desires, fears, and dreams. When you learn to see them as complete human beings and not as conquests or impenetrable enigmas, something magical happens. You start relating with authenticity, and authenticity is irresistibly attractive. A powerful exercise for this recalibration is simple. Practice genuine conversations with women without any intention of seduction. Talk to the barista at the coffee shop, your co-worker, your neighbor, just with the goal of human connection without ulterior motives. This simple habit will desexualize your initial interactions and allow you to develop genuine curiosity about the female world. Notice that I'm proposing an intentional paradox. To become more seductive, you need to temporarily abandon the intention to seduce. When you interact with a woman just with the goal to hook up, that intention comes across as desperation, and nothing is less attractive than that. How are you feeling so far? If you're thinking, but I want practical tips, techniques to use tonight, take a deep breath. I'm building the foundations without which no technique will work consistently. If you skip this step, you'll be building a castle in the sand. Impressive at first glance, but destined to crumble. If what I'm saying is making sense to you, leave a comment. I am committed to transformation. I want to know who is truly willing to do the necessary internal work. Now let's move on to the second pillar of this system, magnetic communication. This is where the magic truly happens. But remember, without the mindset work we just discussed, these techniques will only have a fraction of their potential. The truth is, 93% of human communication is non-verbal. Your tone of voice, your body posture, your eye contact, and your energy communicate much more about you than the words that come out of your mouth. That's why the guy who always has the perfect line but lacks authentic presence rarely gets more than superficial interactions. Let's start with the foundation, your physical presence. The way you occupy space says everything about how you see yourself. Insecure men try to make themselves smaller. Slumped shoulders, looking down, restrained gestures, quiet voice. Confident men do the opposite. Erect posture, deliberate movements, steady eye contact, projected voice. A simple exercise. Starting today, practice standing or sitting while deliberately occupying more space. On the subway, at the office, at the bar, open your arms a little wider, stretch your legs, breathe deeply, expanding your chest. This isn't about intimidating or invading others' space. It's about stopping shrinking out of fear of being noticed. Your body not only reflects your mindset, it also influences it. When you consciously adopt a confident posture, your brain literally starts producing more testosterone and less cortisol, the stress hormone. It's pure science. Your physiology shapes your psychology. The next element of magnetic communication is eye contact. Nothing, I repeat, nothing communicates confidence and interest like a steady and present gaze. I'm not talking about staring like a psycho, but about maintaining comfortable and consistent eye contact. Most men make one of two mistakes. Either they completely avoid eye contact out of insecurity, or they maintain a predatory stare that makes the woman feel like an object. The secret lies in the middle ground, a look that simultaneously communicates confidence and respect. Practice this daily. When talking to anyone, maintain eye contact for a little longer than your natural impulse would be. Observe how this creates an immediate sense of deeper connection. With women you're attracted to, add a powerful tool, the visual triangle. Alternate your gaze between her eyes and her mouth occasionally. This subtle pattern communicates romantic interest in a way your primitive brain instinctively recognizes. The third component of magnetic communication is your voice. Did you know that the male voice is one of the main factors of attraction for women? It's not necessarily about having a naturally deep voice. It's about how you use it. Speak a little slower than your usual pace. Use strategic pauses. Vary your tone to create emotional dynamism. Lower the volume to create intimacy and force the woman to lean in to hear you better. These simple techniques instantly transform the impact of your communication. A practical exercise. Record yourself reading a paragraph from a book. Then record it again, deliberately speaking 20% slower, with more tonal variation and slightly reduced volume. The difference will be striking. The second version will sound much more confident, articulate, and captivating. These elements, posture, eye contact, and voice, form the holy trinity of non-verbal communication. Master them, and you'll already be ahead of 90% of men. Now let's talk about the content of your communication. What to say when you're with a woman you're interested in. The answer might surprise you. The secret isn't in having pre-made lines or impressive stories. The real power lies in the questions you ask and how you listen to the answers. Most men talk too much trying to impress. Experienced seducers do the opposite. They create space for the woman to reveal herself and then respond with genuine interest. Instead of bombarding a woman with questions like an interrogation, learn the art of calibrated curiosity. Ask an interesting question, truly listen to the answer, and then deepen it with a follow-up question that shows you were really paying attention. For example, instead of asking the basic, "What do you do for a living?" I try something like, "What makes you jump out of bed in the morning?" When she answers, don't immediately jump in to talk about yourself. Deepen it. "That sounds fascinating. How did you discover that passion?" This communication pattern creates something rare and valuable. It makes her feel truly seen and heard. In a world where most interactions are superficial and self-centered, this quality of attention is like a magnet. And here's a secret that few men understand. When you create space for a woman to express herself and feel understood, she automatically finds you more attractive. This happens because you are fulfilling a deep emotional need that many people rarely have met. Speaking of creating emotional connection, if you're enjoying this content and already visualizing how to apply these ideas in your life, help me spread this message. Leave your like right now and share this video with a friend who urgently needs this information. And don't forget to activate the bell icon to be notified when the next videos in this series are released. Let's move on to the third pillar, the ladder of intimacy. This is the framework that will guide you from the first contact to a deep connection with any woman who sparks your interest. The biggest mistake I see repeatedly is men trying to skip steps. They meet a woman and immediately try to take her home, or declare their feelings prematurely, or behave with an intimacy that hasn't been established yet. This mismatched behavior makes you look either desperate or socially inept, both extremely unattractive characteristics. The ladder of intimacy consists of clear steps that need to be respected, and timing is just as important as the content. Let's analyze each step. The first step is initial attraction. This is the moment of the first eye contact, the first impression, the initial spark of interest. Here, less is more. Your goal isn't to impress with elaborate displays or fancy pickup lines. It's to establish comfort and spark curiosity. A simple, direct approach works best in most contexts. "Hey, I noticed you from over there and had to come find out who you are." Direct, honest, confident. No games or canned lines that sound fake and rehearsed. The second step is building rapport. This is where you establish a foundation of mutual understanding and comfort through conversation. The communication techniques we discussed earlier are crucial in this phase. Your goal is to discover genuine points of connection, shared values, similar experiences, compatible perspectives. A common mistake is turning this phase into an interview, or worse, a monologue about yourself. Remember, balance and reciprocity. The conversation should flow naturally between sharing and asking, always gradually escalating in emotional depth. The third step is creating sexual tension. This is the point where you transform a pleasant interaction into something charged with romantic possibilities. Many men fail here because they're afraid to express their romantic interest clearly, preferring to hide behind friendship in the hope that something will happen naturally. Let me be very clear. Friendship does not evolve into romantic attraction without an intentional change in dynamic. You need to introduce elements that communicate your interest in a calibrated way. Subtle touches in appropriate situations, specific and genuine compliments, more intense eye contact, gradually increasing physical proximity. For example, instead of complimenting her generic appearance with a bland, "You're pretty," notice something specific that shows attention. Your smile has a magnetic quality. It lights up your face in a unique way. This type of compliment is much more impactful because it shows you truly see her as an individual. The fourth step is solidifying the connection. Here you demonstrate that your interest goes beyond superficial attraction. You show that you see and value her on deeper levels. This phase usually involves more meaningful conversations, shared experiences, and creating memorable moments together. A fatal mistake at this stage is trying to please excessively or abandoning your own values and opinions so as not to mess things up. Paradoxically, this submissive posture destroys attraction. Women are attracted to men who maintain their integrity even when there's disagreement. This doesn't mean being confrontational or disrespectful. It means being authentic and secure in your convictions. The fifth and final step is physical escalation. This is the moment of transition to more intimate contact. The secret here is gradual progression and constantly reading the signals she sends. Take a step forward, observe the reaction, and then decide whether to continue, pause, or retreat. Respect is absolutely fundamental. Consent is not just an ethical matter, it's also an essential component of successful seduction. A woman needs to feel safe with you to allow herself to be vulnerable, and that only happens when she feels her boundaries are respected. The key to mastering the ladder of intimacy is understanding that each step has its ideal timing. Try to climb too fast, and you create resistance. Take too long on a step, and you lose momentum. It's a dance that requires sensitivity, patience, and constant calibration. A powerful tool for navigating this ladder is the concept of 2 steps forward, 1 step back. You advance the interaction, then slightly retreat to create space, allowing her to feel your momentary absence and come towards you. This pattern creates a magnetic dynamic where she also invests in the interaction, instead of just passively responding to your initiatives. Think of seduction as a bonfire you're building. If you throw too much wood on at once, you smother the flame. If you add too slowly, it goes out. Perfect timing keeps the fire burning and growing organically. We're making incredible progress. If you're absorbing these ideas and already visualizing how you'll implement them in your life, I want you to leave a comment. I'm on the 4th step, even if it's just for fun. Let's see who's really paying attention. Now, let's move on to the 4th pillar, perhaps the most powerful of all, magnetic polarization. If you've ever wondered why so many nice guys end up alone, while men who seem to have fewer objective qualities are successful with women, the answer lies in the principle of polarization. Men who naturally attract women understand, instinctively or consciously, a fundamental truth. Romantic attraction is based on the tension between polarities. Masculine and feminine are like magnets, opposites that attract precisely because of their complementary differences, not their similarities. The mistake I see constantly is men trying to attract women by behaving like guys stuck in the friend zone, suppressing their masculine energy in an attempt to seem harmless, agreeing with everything she says, avoiding any behavior that might be perceived as too assertive or intimidating. This behavior, although well-intentioned, is the death of attraction because it eliminates precisely the polarized tension that creates sexual desire. Women don't want a romantic partner who behaves like a girlfriend. They already have girlfriends. So how do you cultivate and express a healthy masculine energy that creates this magnetic polarization? Let's explore concrete elements. First, leadership. I'm not talking about control or domination. I'm talking about the ability to take initiative, assume responsibility, and create structure. When you meet a woman, don't ask, "What do you want to do?" Instead, offer a clear direction. "I know a great spot 2 blocks from here where we can continue this conversation. Shall we go?" This willingness to lead takes the burden of decision-making off her and allows her to simply enjoy the experience. Most women are exhausted from having to organize, plan, and manage every aspect of life. A man who naturally takes the lead offers a deeply attractive relief. Second, decisive presence. Nothing is more attractive than a man who knows who he is, what he wants, and doesn't apologize for it. This doesn't mean being inflexible or insensitive. It means having a clear internal compass that doesn't waver with every external opinion or temporary obstacle. Practice making decisions quickly and confidently, even in everyday situations. Which restaurant, which movie, which activity? Don't spend excessive energy contemplating options. Decide and move forward. This simple habit strengthens your decisive presence and eliminates indecision, which is instinctively perceived as weakness. Third, comfort with your sexuality. Many men have been conditioned to hide or suppress their sexual desire as if it were something dirty or offensive. This sexual shame is extremely unattractive and creates awkward interactions where you simultaneously try to express interest while pretending not to have sexual interest. A man who is comfortable with his sexuality, who can express desire respectfully, directly, and without apology, is incredibly attractive. This doesn't mean being vulgar or inappropriate, it means being honest and integrated. When you compliment a woman, don't dilute the impact with nervous humor. When you express interest, do it with quiet conviction. Fourth, controlled vulnerability. It sounds contradictory, but true masculine strength includes the ability to show vulnerability in a controlled manner. Men who hide behind an impenetrable tough guy facade are, in fact, demonstrating insecurity. Controlled vulnerability means sharing your true emotions, fears, and desires from a position of strength, not neediness. It's the difference between saying, "I'm afraid you won't like me," weakness, and "I feel truly connected to you, and that makes me simultaneously excited and a little vulnerable," strength. Fifth, personal power. This is the intangible element that people feel when you walk into a room. It's a combination of self-confidence, clear purpose, and vital energy. Personal power doesn't come from intimidating others. It comes from mastering yourself. Develop your physical strength through regular exercise. Cultivate competence in areas you value. Establish and maintain healthy boundaries. Honor your word like a sacred contract with yourself and others. These practices increase your personal power, which acts as a magnetic field around you. When you embody these 5 elements, leadership, decisive presence, sexual comfort, controlled vulnerability, and personal power, you naturally create the polarization that activates feminine attraction. It's not about performing or pretending to be someone you're not. It's about unlocking and expressing aspects of your authentic masculine nature that may have been suppressed by social conditioning. Many men fear that expressing this masculine energy will make them less respectful or considerate towards women. The reality is exactly the opposite. When you are comfortable with your masculinity, you don't need to prove anything. You can be simultaneously strong and gentle, assertive and attentive, confident and humble. This integration of seemingly opposite qualities is what makes a man truly magnetic. He is not a one-dimensional character. He is a complete being, capable of expressing the full range of human experience from a stable masculine core. Before we move on to the next pillar, I want to ask for something important. If this content is helping you understand aspects of attraction that have always seemed mysterious to you, please share this video with other men who could benefit. Many of us grew up without solid male mentors and are navigating these complex waters alone. By sharing valuable knowledge, you help raise the standard for everyone. Now let's move on to the 5th and final pillar of this system, mastering contexts. This often overlooked element is what separates those who have occasional success from the true masters of seduction. Different social environments require different approaches. The dynamics, expectations, and possibilities vary enormously between a busy bar on a Friday night, a professional networking event, a private party, or a yoga class. The skilled seducer adapts his energy and strategy to the context instead of applying a single inflexible approach. Let's analyze some common contexts and how to navigate them effectively. First, nighttime environments, bars, nightclubs, parties. These are characterized by high energy, shorter interactions, and increased competition for attention. Here, initial impact is crucial. You have a few minutes, sometimes seconds, to make a memorable impression. In these environments, prioritize amplified non-verbal expressiveness, more expansive posture, more emphatic gestures, a voice projected louder to overcome ambient noise. Short, high-impact stories work better than deep conversations. Physical leadership, leading a woman to a quieter spot, guiding her to the dance floor, creates powerful dynamics quickly. Second, daytime environments, coffee shops, parks, bookstores, supermarkets. These allow for more relaxed and authentic interactions. Here, subtler and more conversational approaches work better, and you have more space to build genuine connection before expressing explicit romantic interest. In daytime contexts, Start with genuine situational observations as a bridge to more personal conversations. That book you're reading completely changed my perspective. Are you enjoying it so far? This naturalness is key. Approaches that seem rehearsed or generic sound especially fake during the day. Third, shared social environments, classes, hobby groups, recurring events. These offer the advantage of repeated contact over time, allowing attraction to develop organically. Here, strategic patience is your ally. In these contexts, initially focus on establishing yourself as a valuable member of the community, contributing positively to the group dynamic. Build relationships with everyone, not just women you're interested in. This indirect approach creates a perception of social value that is extremely attractive. When you eventually express romantic interest, she will have already had time to observe who you authentically are. Fourth, professional environments, work, conferences, networking. These require the highest level of calibration and sensitivity. The consequences of a poorly executed approach here can be significant, so proceed with extra caution and always prioritize mutual respect. In professional contexts, the most effective strategy is building genuine connection based on shared interests and professional respect, allowing any romantic dynamic to evolve naturally and preferably outside the workplace itself. Remember that in professional environments, your reputation is a precious asset. Protect it by being impeccable in your interactions. Fifth, online environments, dating apps, social media. These present unique challenges as you need to create attraction without the benefits of non-verbal communication. Here, the ability to create captivating narratives through words and images becomes crucial. On digital platforms, authenticity is paradoxically even more important. With so many generic profiles competing for attention, specificity and distinct personality stand out significantly. Profiles and messages that clearly express who you are, what you value, and what you're looking for naturally filter for compatibility, saving time and energy. The most common mistake in all these contexts is lack of calibration, applying the same energy, pace, and techniques regardless of the environment. This is like using scuba gear to climb a mountain, the wrong tools for the terrain. The key to contextual mastery is fluid adaptability. Develop a diverse repertoire of approaches and the sensitivity to identify which is appropriate at a given moment. This comes with deliberate practice and careful attention to the subtle social cues that each environment provides. A powerful technique is strategic observation. Before interacting, take a few minutes to observe and absorb the specific dynamic of the environment. What is the predominant energy level? What types of interactions seem natural in this context? How are people grouping and moving? This quick environmental assessment provides valuable data to calibrate your approach. Also remember that different women are receptive to different approaches. Some value directness and explicit confidence. Others prefer a more gradual and less intense connection initially. Part of contextual mastery is developing the ability to quickly read not just the environment, but also the individual signals that indicate interaction preferences. Perhaps the most powerful insight about contexts is this: you can deliberately create them. Instead of just reacting to the environment, truly magnetic men learn to generate their own reality field, a microenvironment that influences how others respond to them. For example, in a serious and formal environment, you can intentionally introduce elements of playfulness and spontaneity, creating a refreshing contrast. In a chaotic and scattered environment, you can establish a space of focused and present connection. This ability to create contexts, not just navigate them, is an advanced skill that separates masters from average practitioners. It's the equivalent of being the director of your life's movie, not just an actor following a pre-established script. And with that, we complete the 5 pillars of the magnetic seduction system: winning mindset, magnetic communication, ladder of intimacy, magnetic polarization, and contextual mastery. Each element reinforces the others, creating a synergistic effect that is much greater than the sum of its parts. But knowledge without action is just entertainment. How will you implement what you learned today? I suggest starting with an honest, assessment of which pillar represents your biggest weakness currently. That's where you'll find the quickest and most significant gains. If you truly want to transform your love life in the next 4 weeks, start with small daily exercises based on these pillars. Consistency in small actions is infinitely more powerful than sporadic grand efforts. Remember that true seduction isn't about tricks or manipulation. It's about becoming the best version of yourself and learning to express that version authentically. When you become a man of genuine value, attraction is a natural consequence, not a forced achievement. The path won't always be easy. There will be moments of doubt, rejections, and setbacks. Welcome them as valuable feedback, not as definitions of your worth. The world's greatest seducers have been rejected more times than most men will ever approach. The difference is that they persisted and learned from each experience. We're reaching the end of this guide, but I hope it's just the beginning of your transformation journey. If you gained any value from this content, show your support by leaving a like, commenting on which insight was most impactful for you, and sharing with other men who could benefit. In the next video in this series, we'll dive deeper into advanced communication techniques that create instant connection with any woman. To not miss it, activate the bell icon and subscribe to the channel right now. Until next time, and remember, the ability to create deep and authentic connections isn't just a skill for romantic relationships, it's a force that enriches every aspect of your life. Start the journey today.